Right. He makes it much easier than I do. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Torn Quadcast on WRMN Radio, AM Radio 1410 on your dial in the Fox Valley River area, I do believe. Do not adjust your dial. It is not Elliott Serrano hosting the show. Today it is me, sidekick, Marc Fishman. We don't exactly know what happened. From what I hear, Elliott was backstage and he was accosted by some unknown assailant, and he's been taken to a local medical facility. He should be back next week with vengeance on his mind. But in the meantime, you got me, Marc Fishman, and joined today by way of St. Louis, a former radio personality, lifelong professional wrestling fan, and maybe, just maybe, the only realtor in St. Louis with the people's eyebrow, Jeremy the Raging Realtor Lieb.
Well, that's it. Good to be here, my friend. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Please, nobody ask about the relation. I don't know this man. He just showed up. But
We have not
it's
met before. Was this your card?
Yes, it was. All right. Welcome. Like I said, this is the Torn Quadcast. We on this show like to discuss sports entertainment, sports and entertainment. That's right. We like to go over, if this is your first time to the show, what a lucky person you are. We'd like to go over professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you like to call it. That includes the WWE, AEW, and anything else that we can think of. TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever they're called this week, Ring of Honor, GCW, and even coming up soon, some local indie federations in the Chicagoland area. Rumor has it that a former owner will be joining us in the coming weeks, but you did not hear that from me. If you are joining us on the stick, thank you very much. If you are joining us on YouTube also, thank you very much. You can check out all of the recordings on the YouTube at the AM WRMN station. There's a whole playlist there. Just look up Torn Quadcast and please violently comment against all of our shows. We are here.
Violently.
Yes, I want to hear. I mean, we have hot takes after hot takes, so we want to hear it. We've got some cool feedback. I had a friend stop me and said he listened last week, and he was very interested about some of our calls about the Wyatt Sicks. We'll get into that. It turns out they're not away, but we'll get there. We're actually going to start this week by finishing off our discussion last week from AEW's Double or Nothing. The pay-per-view happened, and we're going to go over the results real quick and go over any thoughts we've got. So first of all, I'll go ahead and admit it. I didn't pay for the pay-per-view. I did Sunday morning YouTube it like everybody else.
Oh, I thought you meant you were pirating for a second.
No,
that doesn't sound like your style.
Never. No, I watched the. I will say this much. I will part with probably the 60 some odd dollars for the all-in. It seems to be the AEW's equivalent of WrestleMania. They're obviously building to some major storylines there. I'll give Tony Khan my money then, but until then, for these other PLEs or PPVs or whatever you'd like to call them, I'll tune in on Sunday. Especially because rumor has it, even the wrestlers are getting a little tired of the 6-hour shows.
Oh, can't imagine that's draining at all, emotionally or physically.
Yeah, Excalibur actually just has an IV that you can't see under the jacket for the entire call.
I thought it was under the mask, just like right into the, I don't know.
Hoping to have like a little tube. Yeah, just a little tube to drink. So let's go through this here. First and foremost, Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia did lose to FTR after Tony Schiavone got involved. He tried to whisk people away. It did not happen. We got kind of a dusty finish, which was probably predictable. And Nigel couldn't get the win. I don't know anyone who's counting on that happening, but
no. I mean, not when he's he's more a full-time broadcaster than he is a full-time wrestler. Like, I don't think people typically have the same expectation. It's kind of like when, and we stay on AEW, but the example I give is when Gunther and what's his name? Your favorite punter.
Pat. Pat
McAfee, the world's best Microsoft security company. When he did when he had that match. I don't think anybody really thought McAfee was going to win unless it was by some kind of schmaz or roll up or whatever. But they
Yeah.
liked seeing him in the ring. I think it was the same thing with Nigel. You know,
It is, though. I mean, in this particular case, like coming to the defense of poor Princess Tony Schiavone, I get it. But the thing is, for me, especially with Nigel, if you know his background, his opportunity for his last match needs to be an out of retirement Brian Danielson, because those two feuded forever. Those are the two that actually hate each other. So I'm not really sure. I mean, whatever. It was good. And for FTR, honestly, as a fan, I'm happy that they get this dirty win and they can continue their heel ways.
yeah.
I'm curious to see where they end up with this, because we have heel tag champs right now, but we'll see where that goes.
I like them more as heels too. I always thought they were very stale as faces. Like they just kind of have, feel bad for saying this, but I kind of feel like they have very punchable faces. And this is being said by somebody that we can smell our own. I understand what I'm bringing to the table here. Like, yeah, like sometimes people are better as heels. I certainly would be in professional wrestling. And I think Dax and Cash are no questionably better as heels. And I'm sure they agree too.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that they're better at chewing the scenery. I'm still quite not 100% on Stokely Hathaway being their manager. I like they don't really
But he
need a
is
mouth.
funny.
He is hilarious. So
He's very funny.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's growing on
Yeah.
me. I like him. I don't dislike him. I just don't quite understand the relationship of like why they felt they needed him, but whatever. It's kind of adorable.
Because they couldn't get Teddy Long. I'm not really sure where we're going
I
with
mean,
that.
everything is a tag match, but not there.
Always.
Okay. After this, Mark Briscoe and Ricochet had a stretcher match. It was darn violent, and Ricochet
Yeah.
wins through all sorts of shenanigans. But I think, kind of like the first match, I did not think Mark Briscoe had more than a puncher's chance here. And Ricochet needs the win more than he did. So I'm glad that they got the match. And it was interesting, the first stretcher match in AEW. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think Mark Briscoe is un- unfortunately kind of viewed almost like an Eddie Kingston light in that he's got the puncher's chance because he's a brawler. Like there was never, I mean, with his brother, R.I.P. Back in the day with the tag team division, like the two of them, they were never known as the smoothest. Like I don't know. I think they've always been kind of looked at as brawlers, and
yeah.
when you have them fight, I just don't think that Briscoe was really favored by anybody. I'm not sure what the sports betting lines were showing on that one, but
Not
if
high
there
at
were
all.
any, no, I,
Yeah.
I didn't expect Briscoe on that one. But it was a
And
good match, and it's still
I
very
said
interesting for me
he
to see Ricochet as a heel. Still, I mean, it's not new anymore, but it's showing personality that he never got to show when he was in WWE.
aha. Yeah, like I like Briscoe in that he is enhancement talent at the like S tier, because
Mhm.
he does win a considerable amount of his matches, like on the Saturday show or whatever.
Right.
uh he falls victim, I think, in this particular case, is like you said, with his brother passing away. Mark Briscoe has yet to establish any other character other than my brother died and you all love me now, because they were dastardly heels. And
Yeah,
in the face of his
it's weird to see
brother,
him as a face. Yeah.
yeah, I said he's very cuddly for being ornery. I honestly, if he were to come back healthy, I'd actually love to see him and Eddie Kingston tag, because I think that would be a fun team.
As
Uh,
faces.
as whatever,
I mean, they
just
could
let
be
him.
tweeners. I mean, Kingston's kind of like you either like him or hate him, and I don't think he really cares, nor does his character.
Right.
Um,
And they both
and the
got
cool
like
thing is,
that
like,
quote. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I think Kingston and Briscoe both share not just the puncher's chance, the brawler kind of personality, but I think they also both have something in common in that, similar to very few wrestlers out there, they could lose every match for the
Hmm.
next year, and you would still be just as stoked to see them in their next match because they're forever
Yes.
going to be, they're always going to have their fan base behind them.
And I think they both buy their camo shorts from Target. So
Or Army Navy surplus, one of the two,
yes, good for them
next
both.
to Target.
Indeed. Okay, the next match, speaking of predictable finishes, Kazuchika Okada beats Mike Speedball Bailey for the AEW
Oh,
Continental Championship. Once again, I don't understand how winning the tournament, which grants you this belt as a prize, becomes a defendable title, but he hasn't really lost it in 2 years. And no offense
yeah.
to Speedball, who I think is coming up, and he is one of the rare white meat baby faces on AEW that I really genuinely like. And he does, I mean, he's like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for Gen Z,
Yeah.
and I enjoy the match. And I mean, Okada actually like having to wrestle for a change was good.
Yeah.
That I do like his character. I do laugh every time he drops the B word and flicks people off. It's cute. But I do
Yeah.
like that, like when he realizes, oh, I actually have to show up to work today. It was a decent match, of course, and I think Speedball. I mean, he's super young, so this is
He
baseline
is.
with plenty to go.
Well, what's important too is that Speedball is young enough to withstand the harsh reality that while he's a great up and comer, he is stuck with a very bad nickname. And
Yes,
I have a hard time cheering for the white meat baby face. I mean, he is butterball turkey white meat, and Speedball is just not a, it's like, it'd be like Carl the Crusher, in 2025. You're just like, all right, come on.
I
Did
don't.
anybody put
Yeah.
any marketing time into this at all?
Well, I mean,
Um,
I don't know if he's taking it from the Marvel character, and if he does, that's a level of nerd that even I kind of go like, dude, don't.
Yeah. Or he's a druggie. I don't think he's a druggie.
I
I'm just
don't think
saying,
so.
allegedly, I think he's a little cleaner than super clean. No, I just I get kind of lost in the sauce with some of these names and some of these personalities. And it's not his fault that he's a white meat baby face. Got a very likable face, if anything. But yeah, it
He
was
pulls
another
off
one
the
of those
mullet pretty
matches where
well.
he does a little too well, you might
Yeah,
say. Was waiting for the camo shorts there. But yeah, that was another one of those matches where I just kind of knew going in, like, yeah, I know who's winning this one. Like, it just didn't
yeah.
seem like there was enough suspense built there and enough, this is anybody's fight. But we do get to that a little farther up the card.
Absolutely. I mean, things pick up considerably as we go up from there. I will fantasy book just for a brief period because I kept thinking like, what are they going to do with all of this? My bold prediction slash want from Tony Khan for All In: Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Winner takes both belts,
I mean,
and then
winner,
fuse them, please.
the one large, just giant belt.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, if they could stitch
Winner
them
gets the other
together,
one's house. I mean, like that would be like a 6 hour match. I would watch all 6 hours.
absolutely.
I would miss all of the mandatory potty breaks. I would just pee where I sit because literally I could watch those guys read a phone book, except not so much on the mic. It would have to be in fighting form.
It would be
I
a
don't,
great match, and it's the one of those things where it's like that Tony Khan dropped heavy dollar to get Okada over,
of
and
course.
he has held him back from these statement matches, and I don't know why, other than maybe Okada himself just saying, let me keep taking a break. Like, I like this. I
Yeah.
come in, I drop a couple of swears, and I get paid. Great. Love it.
Well, and TK is very well known for marking out with some of these, wrestlers. I mean, like he did with CM Punk back in the day. It's like I think he was gonna
90% of
just
his
let him.
roster, basically.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's just marking out. He's like, "Hey, look at who I get to take a picture with. This is awesome. Oh, what's that? You don't want to fight this week? Okay." Like, I don't think he's really browbeating some of these folks.
no,
Not that he should be, but I think that Kata can fight when he wants and probably has his own meal ticket kind of planned. It was
easily.
good to see him though in an actual match where he had to knuckle
Yes.
up and not just, yeah, like you said, birdie the whole crowd. So
Yes, it was worthwhile. Okay, from
yeah.
here, the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, took on the Hurt Syndicate with special outside interference from Maxwell Jacob Friedman. The funny thing is, last week on this show, Elliott promised he would watch MJF matches. I specifically went out of my way to find there are two great ones on the HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, this week.
Yeah.
You've got both of his big wins from past couple pay-per-views on there for him. And here, Elliott doesn't make it to the show, almost as if he didn't watch those matches. But
Or
that's
he's
okay.
still watching the matches over and over again. It's he just
I
become
mean,
a compulsion kind of thing. I mean,
I could hope, but I don't think he's gonna. But either way, in this particular tag team match that we got here, um, it was good. I mean, look, no offense, and I think we covered this on the previous episode. Dustin Rhodes is in, I please, the final year of his professional in-ring career. Sammy
yeah,
is here to take all the bumps. It was fine. The interesting story, if you want to call it, throughout the match, MJF continually tries to interject himself, but like the streams are crossed. He doesn't know exactly how to cheat appropriately for Bobby and Shelton, who basically don't need it,
no.
especially in this match.
Yeah, it was kind of non grata. Like he wanted to prove himself, and then like the whole storyline is it's like, look what I can do. Like back and during before initiation, and they were deciding they're like, you want to join the Hurt Syndicate, show that you can hurt somebody, go hurt somebody. But now that he's in, he feels like he's obviously having to try too hard, which is kind of funny for his character,
Yeah.
development because historically he's been one of those people that's not going to try to impress anybody at all. He's just, you know,
Well, and it said he's been in two stables, two and a half stables. They've always ended terribly. And I think that's part of whatever the storyline is going to be. I'm actually curious. He's, if you followed up with Dynamite this week, and I'm still making my way through it, but the storyline being that MJF celebrating the win with them, talking about whoever strips John Moxley of the title, he's like going to automatically jump the line and he's going to take his big, beautiful belt back. I've got feelings that if he did that, there might be some clause in this mysterious contract that he didn't read or some such. We're all anticipating the turn.
yeah,
Hopefully not at the cost of Bobby and Shelton having a killer run as a great tag team. Bobby Lashley, not a tag team wrestler, but I'm enjoying
yeah.
him taking the power spot.
He is. And I mean, I think he's experienced enough and he's enough of a veteran that you can kind of plug Lashley into a lot of different spots. I mean, you're not going to see him, doing like he's not going to be back on WWE Speed or anything, but
Right.
like he's not going to become a luchador, but he can kind of plug and play. Like like if he's on a tag team and he's known Shelty forever, like I mean, I think they make it look like they've been together longer than they actually have, which is only a compliment to their chemistry. But
Absolutely. They did a good
yeah,
job. Dustin and Sammy did what they were supposed to do, faces in peril, got their good hope spots in. They were not going to take the titles.
right,
So,
right, and it's weird to see Sons of Texas as the faces. I don't know why. It
it's an
seems like a
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I said I've called this tag team. This is called the uh Sammy Guevara, can I please get a redo tag team?
yeah. Please pay no attention to the last 18 months of Sammy Guevara when we've got this new Sammy Guevara, nice, bright,
Yeah,
and
somebody who
shiny.
got nuclear heat in Fusion
Oh my
Time
gosh.
and then just went away, had a baby, came
Yeah,
back, and Dustin was like, please, everybody, like this guy.
that was a pretty good Dustin, first of all. Secondly, yeah, I mean, he wasn't getting, I mean, nuclear heat's a great term for it. He was not getting heel heat. He was
No.
getting go away Charlotte Flair heat, which
Yes.
is not the kind of heat you want.
Especially not there. There's only one other guy I think who's got that, and we'll talk about him later. Before we have to dump into the break, let us jump into one of the matches here, the Owen Hart Cup for the ladies between Mercedes Monet and Jamie Hayter. This was a match in which you're saying, is it Mercedes' time to finally go after the big one after as long as she's been in AEW as kind of like the mid card boss, versus Jamie Hayter, who, while admittedly stunning, apparently on the road to retirement, her bump card is almost filled, and this was sort of
Yeah.
her last like oomph. Interesting, good, solid match. Sasha Banks slash Mercedes Monet, whatever you want to call her, she knows how to go in the ring when it counts. This was a
Yeah.
darn decent match, and Mercedes turns up with the win.
Yeah, Mercedes is one of those people that, again, like I've always looked at as a heel, even when she's been a face.
Yeah.
And she's a female, so I'm not going to say punchable face or not or any of that. But she's always had this very like look down her nose at you kind of just
She's a mean
look
girl
about her.
even in her good days.
Exactly, exactly. She's so not fetch. And I think when it comes to Jamie Hayter, this unfortunately was another one of those where I'm like, all right, I think we all know who's winning this one, but let's grab the popcorn and watch it out, just watch it play out. I think knowing the number of concussions and injuries that Jamie's dealt with over the years, and knowing, like you put so eloquently, her bump card is almost filled. It's time for the check there at Denny's. I think that she put on a very serviceable match. But again, I don't think that there was too much of a question who was going to come out on top on that one. But
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, Mercedes reminded me why, even though I always look at her as a heel and I rarely cheer for her, she is a really good wrestler. Like, she really knows how to tell a story with her moveset. Jamie does too.
Yep.
And I think their chemistry played out pretty well.
This is also where I think AEW starts to show depth of roster that WWE, in spite of having twice as many people, AEW can put these matches together, because we've gone over this several times tonight already. You may know who's going to win the match, but in these cases, nothing feels phoned in. They are giving a
Right.
performance. They see this as their art, and I think it comes across. I will say, I feel even worse for Hayter, because if you followed up on Dynamite this week, she came out and got punked out by yet another new addition, this Spider Gal from Japan. Admittedly, AEW still cannot figure out how to debut wrestlers. They just sort of show up and the commentary marks out, and I sit back going, I have no idea who this guy is. Like Josh Alexander, I've seen him briefly on TNA. I've never not laughed at wearing the headgear. I don't care what monikers you give that poor guy. And I feel
yes,
bad
I get
for
it.
him.
He's a wrestler. Oh, he's a wrestler with a Greco-Roman background. Cool. The singlet said enough. I don't think we needed the headgear. I mean, I do think that, and TNA is guilty of this too, obviously, with even less budget. But I mean, AEW, it's almost like every time that there's a new debut, like you're kind of waiting for the Shockmaster-esque type of intro. All they're missing is the falling through the wall, And you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, who's this in the impact zone? It's like TNA all over again from back in the day.
And honest to God, I don't even like what's his face? There's a new Death Rider, whoever that is, Uncle Festus. I don't know who it is, and
Uncle Festus.
another bald, red-headed guy who's angry and like just 10 pounds overcut. And he's apparently the meanest, baddest dude in the planet, whatever. So yeah, Jamie took one for the team again, and she'll, hopefully heal up. And now Mercedes and Tony, actually, we're going to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what that match is going to be, because I think there's something to talk about there. And we'll finish up on AEW's Double or Nothing. We'll start covering WWE right after the break, and watch me figure out how the slider works. Ooh, here we go. No, it's not going. Oh, we'll be right back. That's right. He figured out the fade twice. There you go, kids. Welcome back to the Torn Quadcast here on AM 1410 WRMN radio. That's on the AM section of your radio. If you are joining us on the stick, welcome back. If you are watching us on YouTube, also welcome back. I hope when we take breaks, you take breaks. That's what, doesn't everybody take breaks when they're on YouTube? Once again, Marc Fishman here of Unshaven Comics. Elliott, we have not heard back from the local medical facility. We can only assume he is still unconscious, and the vengeance is just filling his veins.
I blame the boogeyman.
Yes. If not him, I'll say the spirit of Umaga. Why not? Maybe Kamala? You guys tell us in the comments who it is. Place your best bets. Best bets. It wasn't me. Couldn't possibly be. No folding chairs in the background. All right, we're good. I am joined, yes, by Chicago-born but St. Louis's favorite son, Jeremy, the Raging Realtor.
I don't know if the name's gonna stick, but I'm in real estate, so I guess that part works. I'm not raging though. I'm pretty happy. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you get yourself a nice Ted Drew's concrete, how can you? I don't know. It's the only thing I remember from. Yeah, Ted.
Who doesn't
Ted
like
Drew's.
chocolate custard? Yes.
Yeah, the lactose intolerant, I think.
Fair. Yes. Which in my family is a plenty.
There you go. Well, welcome back to the Torn Quadcast. We were talking a bit about AEW's Double or Nothing results. We had just announced how Mercedes Moné won her the Owen Hart Cup. She got yet another belt to add to her collection of 80 or however many she's sporting this week. Though I know she's lost a couple, which is good because now she's got space on her waist, potentially, by dethroning timeless Toni Storm, which would only be described as the upset of the millennia.
Love me some Toni Storm. I can't even explain it. She's like the epitome of making something huge out of really not much. Like if someone was like, all right, we want you to use a transatlantic type of like 1940s, type of tonality and dress the part as well, act the part, and then wrestle like you always did. But then throw in some funny, throw in some vicious. I mean, how do you not cheer for Toni Storm for the future?
I mean, this is something where she is the biggest star on AEW's roster by orders of magnitude that you cannot measure. The fact that she's got that belt, I think she could hold on to it forever. However, I could see potentially Mercedes taking the belt, if only to become somebody just to take it off. If Toni is at all tired, then let her take that loss for Mercedes, who could definitely carry as the female final boss of AEW's women roster, and she would be far more beatable. I think Toni kind of has like story armor, like
almost John Cena-esque from back in the day, except with a better personality and
yes, slightly
that's
less.
The
annoying.
only part she's similar to. You've never had her going, "You can see me, darling." Like that's not happening yet. But
also, can I just shout out to whether it's Toni or one of the writers backstage, whoever started renaming some of her names. Like, she does not have a small package; she has the biggest package.
Right.
When it comes to the roll-up win,
there's a lot of really good, just kind of like tongue-in-cheek, wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge kind of stuff that's written in to her storylines and to her moveset. And I mean, I don't know how Shivani and these guys like keep a straight face in general, but
I think they must it's the thing that they should be glad that they're recording without their faces on as she's doing what she does. I also love, the little drops, like when she renamed her tag team with Thunder Rosa so well, we can't mention it on air. But
not even a little
fans, the fans never forget. So,
well, I'm excited for that matchup because, I mean, if you saw AEW this week, it's, Mercedes brags about having all the Monet and all the belts and blah, blah, blah. But then Toni made that very, very weighted point in that, look, you have all these belts. I only need this one. This is the only one I care about. This is the only one I need. So to see her lose that one, I don't know if maybe the writers see Toni as the kind of character that does even better while she's the one that's making the chase. But I also see if she loses the belt, she's probably taking a little break. I mean, she's been going out pretty,
She could, and that's we'll see where it goes from here. I will denote, by the way, Timeless Toni Storm did have a match, and she defeated Mina Shirakawa. It's an interesting and kind of like subtle Tony Khan moving the chess pieces around. For those who don't know, Mariah May, who came in with the whole Tony Storm sequence, she was attached to her hip, ironically, and then backstab, took the belt, ran with it, defended it a couple of times, and got the heck out of Dodge, and apparently is on her way to WWE after that short spell. I thought it was great for those who followed that whole thing because she apparently bludgeoned Tony so bad that she reverted to her previous gimmick and forgot that she was timeless, and then
It's just such great
slowly,
writing. Like,
yeah, and then slowly
or
weak.
so bad it's good. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely the latter, but like it's done again so brilliantly. And then when she did the big turn in the middle of the ring, and she said, haha, it was me the whole time. Brilliant, lovely. Mina was part of that collective. I guess Mina herself and Mariah May faced off against one another, were friends, foes over in Stardom, I think. And she came in. I mean, obviously, both of them can go. It was a good match, solid match. Nobody believed Mina was taking that belt. So,
No. And unfortunately, it was another one of those. I mean, what would you even call it? I don't want to call her enhancement talent, but I mean, it was another showcase for the bigger star of the two. And they're
yeah.
just, and I know you're a little more of an AEW guy, historically, I'm a little more of a WWE guy, but that's like the one thing I do feel like AEW could really improve on who's going to win just by way of the matchups. And I know that the storylines require certain matchups because it's a long process or whatever, but I mean, there were not enough matches on that card for me to even wonder, well, I mean, I guess it's anybody's fight with this, and this. There's only a couple where I really wasn't sure.
Yeah, and that's and some of that is just Tony's booking. It said he puts the right action figures in the ring, but you can kind of see the story as it's going. Uh, but this being your pre WrestleMania esque pay per view, he had to move the pieces into place for this final push. Speaking of, that leads to our main event. This was Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page for the male Owen Hart Cup. Winner of here goes on to face off against John Moxley. By the way, I'm sorry, didn't cover Anarchy in the Arena because I literally could not care less.
No,
So we're not covering it. Somebody won. They were bloody. Whatever. Uh,
a
in
three
this
count was
particular,
called, maybe.
probably. In this particular case, though, Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page, I believe Nigel McGuinness coined the phrase, and I give him all the credit because I thought it was great. It is the story of ascension versus redemption.
Yep.
Can Will Ospreay finally win the big one and go on to face for that championship, or does Hangman Adam Page finish his story of being ruthless, evil Hangman Adam Page, burning down childhood homes and punching people and going crazy, and now to accepting that the people have always loved him as kind of the anti-hero baby face that he is naturally akin to be. Though I will say, unlike others, when he went full heel, I thought he pulled it off well. The problem is, like too many heels that get too cool too quickly, the fans are like, I'm still going to cheer for him because how could you not? The guy somehow went from millennial beard to Tom Selleck stash and pulled it off.
It's like what Jungle Jack Perry was probably hoping for with his look, but it just never quite evolved.
No.
Yeah, this was one of the few where I will say I had no idea who was winning this one. I know who I
Yeah.
was cheering for. How do you not cheer for Osprey, bruv? And I mean, they always will put. I mean, you put Page in any match, he's gonna burn it down. You put Osprey in any match, he's gonna burn it down.
Yes.
Um, and since they didn't have the fake dynamite in the ring, nothing actually got burned down. So it ended up being a really strong match, and I'm glad. I mean, that's the way you headline, you know, a pay per view slash PLE slash in your house, whatever they're calling it now. So that was a
Absolutely.
really really cool match to see. I hope they get to run it back at some point.
They definitely will. And, this is the thing for those who made the follow up on Dynamite. Osprey and Hangman each come out. They once again give impassioned speeches about where do we go from here? How does this work? There's an interesting kind of rub here where once again, Swerve Strickland is not pulling punches. Osprey calls him out and is like, "Come on, like let's all unite. We have to defeat John Moxley. This is getting dumb." And Swerve very casually reminds the crowd that Hangman Adam Page burned his house down, and you don't get a pass for that.
It's still real to me, damn it. Yeah, there's no getting away from that. It's almost like he was breaking the fourth wall. Like, I'm not the only one that remembers this from weeks back,
Right.
do you? Like,
Yeah,
wait a
I
minute.
like that. I give them credit. This was definitely a case where it's like, look, I'm not going to. This is one of the thing, the enemy of my enemy kind of thing. And I imagine
Right.
as we go on this, Swerve will interject so that Hangman has a clean shot to win,
Yeah,
because when he does win, let's not mince words there,
no
he's going to
question.
be on that short ticket to I want my rematch, I want my belt back, and it'll be
Yep.
a barn burner, no doubt. And with that in mind, like that's exactly where we're headed to All In. Hangman Adam Page versus John Moxley. Like we got to get the ramp up. It's got to happen now. I've personally been sick of Moxley holding this belt now for probably 3 months at least, because the payoff never came. He won that belt.
Right.
He said that they were going to change the landscape, that they were going to own the company, they were going to make everybody
Uh,
pay. And all he did really is put the belt in a suitcase.
yeah, I'm not. I Was he making people pay to open the suitcase to see it, or how does? Because otherwise, he's 0 for 3 on those three promises.
Yeah,
Like,
none of it
the
makes
threats are
sense.
coming up a little empty.
And then the Young Bucks join but don't join. They're all evil together, but they don't like each other. None of it makes sense. And the Death Riders, while having the coolest stable name in wrestling,
Absolutely.
uh, still cannot seem to matter, and that's the problem.
Right.
Wheeler
They're getting
Yuta and
outshined by the evil Bucks.
yeah, well, look, no, like credit where it's due. If you come to your wrestling pay per view in colonial garb because you are the forefathers of pro wrestling,
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
that is as heel a move as you can make.
Oh,
For
he's
Rod,
raking the parchment across his eyes. That's not legal.
look
Like, I
for
mean, how far were
wrestling
they going
for
to
pro
take this?
wrestling's own Rod and Todd Flanders. God bless.
Yeah, very well played, sir. Well played.
Yes, I'll take the credit on that one. All right. We've got ourselves a good solid like 12 minutes before we got to bounce. So let's jump into WWE. Saturday
Yeah.
night main event happened for those who enjoyed. We had two big stories really to come out of this. Cody Rhodes is back. Hooray.
Kinda. Like, not with a bang, but with a whimper. I mean, it's almost like they're almost having him just rely a little too much on whenever I come back, I'll get, like, the royal treatment and everybody will cheer for me. But it's like, where have you been, buddy? Cena's been over here running roughshod, ruining wrestling,
Yes.
and Cody's been getting promos played for him and a vodka company in his, like, camper,
Yeah.
talking about things with his wife, which good for him, family first, but wrestling a sheer far third or fourth, fifth, beyond that. Like, he just comes back and doesn't explain why he's been gone, which seems a little
Yeah.
empty.
And like I guess he's helping out main event Jay Uso to hold that belt for however many weeks that he will
Yeah.
before I sure hope he drops it. Here's the thing, and I'm not sour about it, but Cody to me has booked himself poorly. He
Yeah.
came back and we had to suffer a year and change for him to finish his story. He did. He defended the belt. He lost the belt. And if not for the main event, where does Cody fit? I don't think even WWE knows, and that's a problem.
I think you already know where I'm going to go with this. He's got to go the one place he hasn't gone in a long time. Not
Don't.
Indiana Beach in Monticello, Indiana. He needs to go full heel. That's what he
And he
needs to do.
won't. And that's the thing. Like I just watched a huge documentary about this where they're like the whole reason he left AEW is because he absolutely refuses to go heel. And I understand his thought process behind this, but I'm also looking at it saying you are going to do this until you get go home heat, and you can't replay the story. So
No. But wait, this brings me back to AEW just for an example of what he could do. You know how Tony Storm got bludgeoned so badly that it knocked her out of her current character and she forgot where who she was. What if Cody just gets beaten down so badly in his next match that all of a sudden he just comes back the next week to his normal music, but he's Stardust again? I mean,
no,
that
no,
could
no, no, no,
easily throw
no,
things
no, no,
off.
no. I'm taking it back even further. I want mustache Cody Rhodes.
Ravishing. Like,
Yes,
oh God, with the mask
bring
and everything, the Dennis Rodman. That's
yeah,
oh yeah.
bring all of that back. Slap him so hard his daddy's lisp gets broken. Okay,
Oh,
sorry,
too soon? Come on.
no, not
I'll
soon enough.
dusty
All
that
right,
one off.
the other big story to come out here is Bronson Reed has joined the Please Don't Officially Call Us the Dangerous Alliance until the T-shirts are printed.
Yeah. And see, I did not see the show live. I was watching it on a very long delay, and I had part of the show spoiled for me, but I was kind of like Mike Speedball Bailey reading through it and see what I didn't do there. And I thought at first that I was reading that Bronson Pinchot had joined, Seth
He did the dance
Rollins'
of joy.
cousin Balky,
Yeah, you know
Bartokomous.
what?
I thought it was him. It was better, probably, that formerly doing business as Jonah, Mr. Bronson Reed, came through. And
Yeah,
I was happy to see that.
I guess I said I so far thumbs in the middle on this one. Like him plus Braun Breaker plus Seth Rollins. There's a cool energy there. Paul Heyman being the mouthpiece, fantastic. But my only question is how many milliseconds until they take a title, or what is the like right now? I don't know what the mission statement is, right? Because I don't
Yeah.
need them to fight CM Punk or Sami Zayn for the next 12 months. I just don't.
Well, that and the fact that you're only going to get so much backstory and emotional connection between Seth and his henchmen, because that's literally how they're being portrayed. It's just henchmen. And it's potentially a step up, in promotion for Bronson, for Bronson Reed. It seems a bit like a lateral step at best for Braun Breaker. Braun at least was talking before he was on the stick. He was mic'd up, and he got to really show, um, his antithesis of Michael Bolton's "Time, Love, and Tenderness," circa
Yes.
1989, and or whatever year it was. I don't have the album in front of me, or do I? But at the end of it all, like now he's just the silent, almost like Solo Sikoa was, before he started
He's a
getting mic'd
heater.
up.
Yeah. Because he's a reheater. I think
Yeah,
this should be all worth it until once again, WWE only has like 5 stories. However, this devolves, whoever stabs whomever in the back, I think that's what we'll all be waiting for. But in the meantime, I'd love to see them collect some gold. I'd love to see them dominate. It's a great stable. Let's do something about it. I'm glad for Bronson Reed. This is probably the biggest step up he's gonna get. So let's
do
see
they
it
get any
happen.
females in the group? That's my question. Do they go mega heat and get Mrs. Rollins joining
I
up?
would, honest to God, I would love to see them do that. Just to acknowledge that you can have two genders in a faction and have it not be the Judgment Day. That would be
Yeah,
great.
true.
Uh, by the way, I love that my ceiling fan, with even the thought of Rhea Ripley, lights up. That's
I
great,
love that. You got
right?
very illuminated all of a sudden.
I know. This is my destruction. Okay. There is some other things happening in WWE. Let's get to it real quick. Money in the Bank, that is what we're working towards. We have 4 technically already in. And by the way, if you're watching or listening to us live on Saturday night, SmackDown will have happened, so we don't know yet. But between Andrade, Jacob Fatu, or Carmelo Hayes, they will be joining Seth Rollins, Louisiana Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
So that's what
This
LA
is
stands for. Got it.
according to our truth. It's
That's
one of
true.
the funniest things that have
You
happened in
mean
the last.
Ron Cena? I love that.
Yes. Oh my
Um,
god.
he's in his prime. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that the winner is gonna be one of the names you already named.
I mean, it's probably, I don't know who else you put in there, but I guess here's my question. Uh, Going through this list, I feel bad for LA Knight and Penta because
They're not going to
neither of them
win.
are getting it. Solo
Penta doesn't need to
Sikoa,
win either.
he does, but he's not there yet. I mean, he's over with the crowd, but we
He
know that
will
he's
need to
not.
win eventually, but right now he's got the crowd.
Yes. Solo Sikoa would be an interesting dark horse in that match because we've got Jacob Fatu with the belt. It would be interesting if Jacob wins tonight's match and he gets in there, so you have two members of the bloodline, which could lead, because right now we know there's this quasi will they, won't they fight kind of vibe happening there. I think this is Rollins' match to lose. He's king of holding that stupid briefcase.
He's
Which if
good with
I
it though.
He is.
I'm just glad to
Uh,
see him as a heel. And I know there's like an ongoing theme with me talking about heels, but like Rollins has never made a good face. That
no.
laugh, insta heel.
And yes, there's no coming back from that.
Like I can't
Yeah,
even do it. I
no,
can't make it as annoying as he makes it. I wonder if that's his actual laugh.
I don't know. And here's the thing: like he is a kind of quasi Chicagoan, so I'm supposed to kind of like him, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I like him. I just like him as a heel, I think.
I do. I'll put it this way. I like him when he figured out that the curb stomp or the stomp, whatever you want to call it, was his finisher, not borrowing the pedigree. No offense to
Yeah.
the dude. He ain't big enough to throw that one. Okay, the last little bit here, we got one more. Like I said at the top of the show, the Wyatt Sicks, however you'd like to spell it, are back. They are waging war against all tag teams because there's 6 of them, and I hope that they win the belt and then they freebird that thing for the next year.
I see what you did there. Is it me or do they seem like they've gone from super faces to tweeners now?
I'm not really
Is the
sure
fact that
what
they're
they
willing to
are,
take down anybody now. Like it used to be they
but
were only
yeah,
attacking folks that had some kind of storied past or had some kind of hypocrisy or injustice that needed to be righted, that was wrong before. But now look at who they're attacking.
yeah. I mean, I guess to say like they're over, they're all over, so they're going to march ahead. This is smart to put them in the tag division because I think there's no standouts in their group, which is I think on purpose. So uh,
Yeah, they there's no individuality there. I mean, like Nikki Cross is marketed to look just as evil and scary and intimidating as what's his face with the full sleeves, who used to be way funnier when he was quiet.
Dexter Loomis.
That was the guy, yeah. But now he's all
Yeah,
dreadlocked out. A lot of people don't even know that it's him.
yeah. It's all good. I think the best is for Huskus the Pig Boy, whoever that was, John Gacy or
Bring
something.
back Huskus.
Right? It's all good. So welcome back, Wyatt Sicks. And I think that kind of rounds out the week, everybody. I'm gonna say thank you to Jeremy Lieb here, the Raging Realtor. You got 10 seconds. You want to plug something? Go ahead.
I'd like to thank Fresca for being so delicious and Chicago for having the real pizza.
Hey, there you go. You heard it here, St. Louis. I have been Mark Allen Fishman. You have been listening to the Torn Quadcast here on WRMN AM 1410. Thank you for joining us on the stick. If you join us on YouTube, hopefully give us a like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things that Elliott says that I forget. All right. Thank you guys very much. We will see you next week.